Welcome back to our any percent no major glitches death door tournament. I'm your host, Pudding Boxes, and joining me in the commentary booth we have TFT. Would you like to say hi, TFT?
Hello, super excited to be here.
And Shresh.
Hi everyone, good to have you back.
Today it's our semifinals match, and whoever wins this goes to our finals. We have Kipoints. Would you like to say hi?
Now, a question you might be lingering in your mind is, can crows swim? The short answer is no. Crows cannot swim because they're not water birds. Hi.
Very good fact, yes. And Vorime, would you like to say hi?
Hello.
All right. The streams aren't showing up. Let me refresh it real quick.
Yeah, I think this happens every time, right?
Yep.
At least every match I play.
There we go. All right. All right.
Hey.
So, good luck, runners. Keep it below the belt. Don't hit anything below the belt. All right.
Wait.
So...
Conflicting advice. Hang on.
You didn't know we're boxing tonight? Creator Clash number 2.
I misspoke. Okay. All right. So you're both one click away from starting the game.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So on go. All right. So 3, 2, 1, go.
Good
Good luck, runners.
Good luck to both runners in their off. It's a very exciting matchup. Kipoints seed 4, Vorime seed 1, and the record holder as well. But fine margins between these two runners, I imagine, and that's what we'll see here.
Yeah.
Very excited, TFT. How are you? We've been spending some time watching both of them prepare. What's your impression on both of these runners' preparation so far?
I've been watching both of them. They've been doing a ton of work of getting ready for this race. I've seen both of them streaming regularly. The other day, Vorime did an 8-hour stream of attempts. I think Kipoints is on every day, and it's going to be fun to see the amount of effort they put in come into fruition for this match. It's definitely anyone's match too. Like, Vorime is obviously the favorite, but any small mistakes can add up, and Kipoints can definitely come through and take a match or two, or even get on to the finals.
Speaking of mistakes, Vorime did miss the early fast door, so Ki has the lead getting in the first split.
Yeah, that's exactly like getting off on the wrong foot. You just don't. It's like it's not too big a deal, but you're like, man, I really wish I would have gotten that.
Got a quick recovery to get the charged heavy fast door. Looks like he's a second behind Ki. Had a faster fight slightly, so makes up tiniest amount, but like I said, very small margins to start off. We'll be looking to see where they separate out if and when they do.
Yeah, I think the first key point to look for is key point, pun not intended, is the Arena 1, where a lot of things can potentially trip you up a bit, like the backpack not being able to be hit, things like that, and it'll be where we see a bunch of separation if anything happens there.
Definitely. Both runners follow pretty similar and I would say like the traditional strats through Cemetery and even through Estate pretty much. So we probably won't see many differences in approach, but more like differences in execution and in RNG. So let's keep an eye how they handle these mini arenas and the first arena, like you said.
For sure. And also the improv section here where you have 2 grunts and 2 imps also can be a little bit trippy. Vorime got a very good pattern here where both the grunts were lined up, so all you had to do was 1 heavy and 1 light. And we'll see if that happens for Ki too. Unfortunately, his are a bit more separated, so we will have to do both, and that is going to slow him down. It'll probably see us... Oh, and it got stuck behind the tree, so that's even more of a time loss. So Vorime should be a bit ahead after that. Vorime seems to be having a pretty good pattern on the first arena. This is pretty much how you want it to look. Everything worked out perfectly, and he seems to have recovered pretty nicely from his initial trip. The one hit there, but, other than that, The second hit, do you even know how that second hit hits, Shresh? I'll have to watch it back later. It looks like Kipoints also did end up taking a hit. Two health is a little bit of a risky spot. Don't want to see a hit in Arena 2 because of that. 1 health Guardian is particularly scary. If you mess up the arena laser, it makes you just have that reset. So a lot of runners will just do a reset before that fight, just to make it as safe as possible.
Seems I was speaking on mute the whole time.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I missed what hit Vorime, the second one. Key did get hit in the mini arenas all the way in the beginning, but yeah, this is a bad situation for both of them. Like, it's not really bad, but it's something that's extra on their mind. You ideally just want to be carefree going into this arena. Vorime in particular, like you said, yeah, needing to be extra careful. We did see him in a stream recently when he went down to 1 health, take the save and quit before Guardian. Hopefully it won't come to that.
I think most runners would. Like, just that laser can sometimes be a bit finicky, and you don't want to rely on it being nice to you for a run.
Let's check out the deflects. All looking pretty clean for Vorime right now.
Yeah, both runners seem to be having extremely clean Arena 2s. We'll see right here with the flex for Kipoints. They do both hit, and he gets a second. So yeah, very good arenas from both. I don't expect much trouble from 2 runners who are extremely capable.
This arena, to some extent, is a bit more consistent than the first arena. Like you said, that arena has those issues with the backpacks staying around. Here, it's much easier to deal with in a much more consistent manner. No save and quits. Vor is confident going in at 2 healths, as is Key. Let's see who comes out on top here. The laser roll is what we're looking for from Vorime here. It does get hit.
Yeah. That makes this a little bit risky. As long as he's careful in his positioning, yeah, it's pretty safe. He'll probably be far away from the bridge to ensure he doesn't fall off, take the second or 2 time loss to be completely safe. Looks like Kipoints also got hit by the laser, so laser's just not being nice today at all.
Yeah, it does seem to be that it works out that way, that if you are kind of even over prepared, you end up at the gate very early, you have a lot of time to charge up your heavy, and then you release it too early, and then your entire damage pattern is just earlier than it needs to be. Sometimes you can adjust, but it's kind of hard to do. You really need to keep your ear sharp for the laser and know that you have done it too early. So it's not easy. Both runners having a time there, but getting through to the cutscene. At this point, survival was all that really mattered, because both runners have been going for pothead skip soul recently, which grants them the free save and quit.
Yeah, one of the things that definitely come out of this tournament is pothead skip soul meta. Like, before this, people didn't really do it, and we realized it was, a second or 2 faster, and everyone adapted it for the race. And I think everyone's gotten a lot more comfortable with the skip as a result. If you're doing it twice every run that you get that far, it really does help with the consistency on it. So it seems like people have been very hesitant to go back, even in a race setting.
Definitely. It does work out very well in these sort of situations to get that free save and quit. The alternative is to save and quit in crypts, where Vorime is headed to pick up the soul. Right after you pick up the soul, if you save and quit, transports you back to the start of this crypt. So it puts you back in the direction you want to go. It's a good save and quit, doesn't lose much time, but pothead soul save and quit is free completely. It doesn't lose any time at all, because it just is the ideal route.
Yeah. Overall, you'd probably lose a couple seconds going for not pothead skip soul and doing the crypt save and quit. So at this point where these runners are, that every second counts, and so they're definitely going to do pothead skip almost every time.
Yep, we do see the telltale sign. Neither did the save and quit encrypts. In a race scenario, pothead skip makes a lot more sense because of the secondary concern that the runners have, that they're taking the door regardless. Like, even if a runner is not doing pothead skip, which we did see some runners do early on, they were still taking the door. When you take the door, the reason to do pothead skip soul, or rather to skip pothead skip soul, is much less because you're taking the door anyway. If you're not doing pothead skip soul, one of the reasons you do that is that you can skip the door, go straight to the pot, and climb up. But in this race situation, there's that reason is also gone.
Yeah, and the reason we're bringing it up so much is pothead skip is such an important part of this. There's a lot of ways it can go slightly wrong. You can void out, you can miss a roll onto the ledge. We will probably see some extremely good pothead skip mechanics from both of these runners, as Vorime clearly demonstrated from his first pothead skip. But we'll have to see how the rest of it plays out. Another very clean pothead skip soul from Vorime, making his way over to the right side of estate. Kipoints having a little trouble, yeah. The roll onto the ledge is as equally difficult as getting the initial hit onto it too. So every single part of it needs to be executed well to be very consistent. One interesting thing, I just was watching the right side. Vorime did try to hit a pot to start collecting soul. That makes me curious if he's going to look for, in the future, the spider soul skip as well. I know he's been doing a lot of practice with it, but he was talking about potentially doing it in the run, and I think he's been going a bit back and forth on it. Oh, and
sorry,
yeah,
go ahead.
oh, no, yeah, I was going to say he got hit by the arrow too. That 2 health on right side estate is spooky.
Yeah, he was having a decent time up until then, except the one archer hit. It just kind of like went a little south towards the end of that section, I guess, but
Yeah,
pretty clean otherwise.
one about those hero archer shots that it's really hard to do anything about if you're just doing normal gameplay, because 90% of the time it just won't hit you, so you don't have to worry about it.
He had a pretty good right side too. The first mage, the very first mage in the first section, got away for a second, but it spawned very favorably, so allowed him to clean it up very nicely. And the rest of it went fairly clean, so might be trumps to key on this right side. Let's see how the left treats him, or has been going pretty clean through all of it.
Oh no, caster curse already.
Grad pot.
This the grad pot.
Oh, key also gets hit. Trying to go for the mana, I guess, there.
Yeah, that was a kind of awkward spawn for that mage. You don't want it near the ledge because you can risk just things going a little weird. So I think he was trying to play safe on it, and it just didn't quite work out. But overall, this is a relatively clean left side from both runners. Not too much damage. Most of the arrows hit. Didn't have to go too far out of the way to get ammo.
There you go.
Keep hitting grad pot, exactly.
And you did, if you notice, Vorime did kill those 2 grunts on the way. So as you mentioned, going for the spider lair skip strats, he, like you said, has been doing it in stream.
Yeah, no, definitely an indicator he's going for it. He's trying to collect as much soul as he can early on to just not have to do anything later. Kind of saw Key trying to do the same thing, get a quick, heavy an attack on a grunt on the way. It didn't quite work out because the roll just barely missed, but it kind of looks like both runners are gearing up towards the spider skull skip, which definitely is faster if you don't go too far your way to have to pick up soul while you're going there.
Does look like he's around 20, a little over 20 seconds. We'll, I guess, lose a bit more here now, but slightly behind based off that estate. Nice quick work here from Vorime, killing off the mage with the heavy deflect. Key is making his way for the strength upgrades. Vor already picked those up. We did not mention those, but those are the first set of upgrades we get in this run. Makes mana a lot more palatable.
Yeah. In other categories like Hot Pot, we will do those with 1 strength, and it is definitely a tough transition to go to that, and every fight takes twice as long.
There has been talk of going to 0 strength meta for that, but that would be interesting and sad. Let's see how Keys deals with this. Pretty much the same perfect cleanup.
Yeah, Vorime at this point, he said he watches the stream, he doesn't really listen to the commentary, so he does know he's a bit ahead at this point. He's probably just going to be looking to maintain his lead as much as possible. Kipoints is, I believe, both has the stream on and is listening to commentary. Hi, Key, if you're listening. He'll probably be playing a little bit riskier to try to catch up while still playing as safe as he can to not die.
And that is one of those interesting differences here, just based off the ceiling times that these runners have right now. Key forced to just go for PBs, has to go as hard as he can. Kind of doing a mix of race strategization and like threading the line to be right at the edge of risky that he can be in a race.
Yeah.
So it'll be very interesting watch here between the 2 runners.
Indeed, and I think Kipoints is in position for a good PB. With all the new strats and all the practice he's put in, his Summer Best is looking that way too. So he definitely knows that's also a potential here, and he's going to try his best to put him in as good a position as he can to be able to win this race.
Or not taking that seed. Interesting choice there. That is one of the freer seeds, which he was taking even yesterday during practice runs, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I wonder if he just forgot. I know we were talking about yesterday that it's sometimes really hard to get into the mindset of no reset runs and race mentality and taking all the safeties. It might just be that he didn't remember to grab that, because the normal thing you do is you skip that for the extra 2-3 seconds.
Fair. That is very possible. In a race, there's so much on your mind. You're trying to go fast, and just things can slip out. He had a bit of issues, notice, getting through the first arena there.
Got yeah.
Clipped as well once. Vor has been flying through this whole split. Hasn't been much to mention because he got the quick kill pretty much ideally on the big pot, and had to get some extra slashes in Impluff than you would want for the ideal scenario, but really good regardless. Key, meanwhile, down to 2 health against big pot.
He still gets the fast kill. Yeah.
Now we have to see whether he'll take the heal. It's been back and forth. I've noticed him take it sometimes and not as well.
Yeah.
So
I have a feeling in this circumstance he probably will skip it, unless he goes to 1 HP during this Impluff. I think it's one of those risk versus reward things that he's going to be going on the side of risk. And he did have a relatively clean, all things considered, Impluff. So yeah, and he skips the pot.
Yep, just those couple of hero imps which are kind of always blocking your way, but he didn't like roll away from the brazier. He knew that was going to happen, so good recognition there.
Yeah, some days Impluff just doesn't want you to go fast, and you have to kind of accept that and just go as fast as possible.
Speaking of recognition, good recognition on Vor that he was going to have to clean up an extra wave there. So roll slashing into the door to get it immediately.
That was like a perfect display of like Varime's skills in this game, because he recognized that he had to dodge, roll, and attack, and did it at the last possible second with like good reaction speed, and then recognized the timing just innately and was prepared for that too. So while it wasn't the fastest that you'd ever see, like he recovered it really well despite the fact that it was a bit off. And that is definitely one of the harder arenas in this section too. 2 HP is going to be a little bit spooky for Kipoints. It's going to be a key point to watch in this section. Promise I'll stop making that pun. My brain recognizes it as one.
Playing it safe, going for the deflect. He'll also have an extra grunt, but gets through it safely. That's all he really needed there.
Really, it's not too much slower than Varime's. He did take a couple safeties, which lost a couple seconds. We're seeing a bunch of the separation between the two runners come from just the small couple second things like that. But overall, very clean.
Did notice Vor did not go for the new diagram strats in this split. Where you have to bait the purple part, the room where you have to bait the purple part. Just have noticed him again go back and forth, but sticking to safe strats, what he's comfortable with. Let's see if he can kill this mage. Wow.
Yeah, that was. You always want to see both of those die in that wave, because otherwise you have to wait another 4 seconds, and it's always excruciatingly painful waiting there. Varime's gonna be feeling really good after this manner. He's on a 19-20 pace, which is a very, very solid pace to be at this point.
At this point, I imagine Key will be about a minute behind, depending on how this split ends up. But not any major mistakes from Key's side as well. So playing keep up quite well here.
Yeah, he's doing what he wants to, which is he's doing the best he can to keep up, watch for any potential slip ups on Varime's side, and then keep up the consistency to be in a position to take the lead from there.
Smart to do that. Let's see, double kill here. Notice he didn't, by the way, go for any sketchy rolls, so I'm glad he took that decision, and very clean.
Yeah. There's a point where you're a little bit too risky for a race setting, and some of the sketchier rolls can definitely get to that point. So it looks like the runners are about 40 seconds different. 45, no, 50? Can I do math in my head? 50.
Yep, which is, yeah, just like you said, a few seconds lost in every split, just about, not really actually. I think Key had some splits back and forth, but just the second here and the second there just adds up across manner.
Yeah.
Last wave of Avarice, very clean. Everything so far pretty much consistent for Vorime. I imagine the first 3 waves. This is where there's some variability, so let's see. It's able to handle it. Cleans out the ads while waiting for the deflect. Beautiful.
That's like exactly the cycle you want to see. Getting 2 of those projectile attacks while you're cleaning everything else up.
He's turned for Avarice 1 now. Very similar start. Does not go for the arrows, but just this full charged heavy.
Yeah, that's a relatively new optimization. I don't know if all the runners have seen it and picked it up yet, so I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't know.
One of the pot obliges him by just killing itself. Small amount of time lost to allow the mage to repair, but it's very, very, very minor there. No arrows in this wave either. But I guess I think in this case it was just not having the time to do it.
Yeah, there was a miss attack on a grunt, and I think it just messed up the timing a bit.
Good adaptation to clean it up fairly quickly. Getting projectiles as well. Pretty much the same cycle for both runners. You'll have to see that happen.
Yeah, very, very good cycle. Very clean overall arenas from both runners. I believe Vorime did skip Spider Layer. I was a little bit distracted.
He did, yes.
Okay,
Went straight to Gondola.
So he'll probably be looking to get a couple more extra grunts here than normal. He'll probably be going a little bit slower, but is definitely better for that than to risk not having enough soul for Strength 4 upgrade in a bit. That's what all of this soul gathering is for. Once we hit soul 4, we don't really need to do any additional soul gathering than what's already in the route. But before then, you got to be extremely careful, or you might just end up not being able to hit the mark on it.
Let's see what Kipo is going for here. So if he goes for Spider Lair, there will be a bit more of a separation artificially for a while here. They won't really catch up until the Stranded Sailor split, so the runners will appear to be further apart for this next whole section.
It'll be about 30 seconds extra, somewhere between 25 and 30, depending on how fast he gets through. But see, like getting that extra hit does cost a little bit extra time, so probably close to the 30.
Yep. Trying to play very safe with this whole war, meanwhile getting a little bit of an unfortunate pattern, but cleans it up very quickly.
Yeah, that's another really good adaptation to RNG. The grunts just kind of, you have to react to where they are, and it's completely random every time. And very, very nice improvisation from Vorime for sure.
And those are the arenas where the enemies are pre-spawned. Those are the ones which kind of you see the difference between like the high-level runners and the really, really high-level runners, because that's where you really have to know how to react to every situation. People who have a lot more experience with the game, who have just played more positions. It's kind of like a game of chess. If you've seen more positions, you can react to more positions, and just the better you are at learning to read those positions, that's how you get through it faster. Vorime is kind of a master at that. So.
He got a lot of experience in his Hades days. All of the fights in that basically are improvisation. So bringing those skills into this game, they're fully on display. That was a very, very clean. Do we have a name for this arena?
I've heard Vine Arena and Staircase Arena, which are the two features of it. So I guess
yeah, that makes sense. But I like Vine Arena. That one's pretty good.
Yep, because I think at this point the strats are so heavily revolving around the vine, it does make and they really don't actually involve the staircases at all.
You don't want to go on the staircase at all if you can help it.
Yep. So just for that purpose, we should encourage people to call it.
Or we could call it anti-staircase arena.
The one which has the staircases, but don't go on the staircases because they're slow. Arena.
Yeah, just make it as long as possible.
He getting a slightly better pattern here, but did get hit and just a missed input. The Y button is just one of those things in this game. You have heard enough people complain about it. But let's see how this arena goes for Vorime.
Yeah, very, very standard stress from Vorime here. Pretty much going exactly how you'd want it to.
This does end up being fairly consistent, just if you're able to bait out the enemies as well as Vorime is able to. So
the only thing you have to really look out for is some of the ground attacks. Like they'll jump at you, but if you're walking around and being attentive, they generally won't hit you in a way that'll get you killed.
I want to say it before, but lovely to see both runners getting mom skip first try.
Oh yeah, for sure. I was not going to say anything until both of them did, but it is sometimes just not your day to get that skip, and it's good to see both runners get it.
His turn at this arena. Stands a bit closer to the platform, which ends up causing the deflects to not work.
Yeah.
I personally found it much better to literally roll off that ledge and go as far from that edge as possible, but I'm sure everyone has their own method.
Yeah. It didn't lose that much time because he was able to quickly clean it up, and the grunts were running as opposed to walking. So we just took them out together, which is not what you want to see, but like the best second case scenario.
Pretty much as fast as that could have gone in that situation. After you miss those deflects, it can get hard, but Key doing a good job of cleaning it up very well. Goes into Bomb Arena with 2 health, which is enough, but as long as just things don't go horribly wrong, basically.
Yeah,
And
did you could see he was rolling away from the bomb wall just to make sure that no shenanigans happen.
Very smart to recognize that the grunts were jumping, and you can take a risk there in just a PB attempt, which is you can reset. It's early enough, but definitely don't want to do that in a race. So smart to be conservative there. He's using a bomb for these three.
Yeah, I think his timing got a little bit mixed up on that wave, and he had to adapt a bit. But overall recovered it pretty well. Varime's on Arena 1, having a little bit of trouble with the luck, but cleaned it up actually extremely well for what happened.
Yeah, that was, oh my god, they're really bullying. Oh wow, what is happening? This is pretty much the worst spider luck I've seen in a while. Pretty bad. To not be able to really kill any of them, but doing such a good job of staying calm, killing them off as quickly as he was able to.
Yeah, not losing any HP too, which is definitely a risk in that scenario.
It really is. And in this arena, you don't want to take hits. There's no real heals. Of course, Vorime would have been comfortable going through Crow 2, probably. Ooh, there's that one extra kill, by the way.
Mm-hmm. I don't think we'll see much more of him going for extra soul unless he sees his counts particularly low. It looked like he got about the right amount. So probably just be going straight through the rest of this until he gets his upgrades.
Nice deflect.
Yeah. It's a very standard strat. It looks extremely pretty when it goes correctly like that. I don't know if any other runners have picked that one up yet even. I'm definitely not using it.
Yeah, that deflect is hard to, like, I think it would require some practice to be sure that you get into the first position correctly against the hammer bro so that you can roll in the correct place and be in position for the deflect.
Oh. Chat reminding us we missed saxophone time. We'll have to remember for the next run.
Of course, yeah. There was action like in the other run both times that the saxophone happened. The runners are interestingly like pretty nicely separated.
Yeah. The stagger is nice for watching for sure.
But definitely that is an inexcusable offense on our part. So next time we will call it out.
I'll make a note.
Ooh, hit twice. Trying to go maybe a little too fast there because after he got hit the one time, he was trying to salvage the situation and go aggressively. But
getting off cycle on those is particularly rough.
He having a much nicer time with spiders, by the way, on this side.
Yeah, those are the things he needs to help catch up a bit on this lead. Like less mistakes during the arenas, more luck spiders and things like that. That arena one was much faster than Varime's for the luck low. So like slowly catching up.
Yep, that in itself is heartening. Just RNG working out. Even in the last wave here for Vorime, one of the spiders did keep away for a little while. We do see him take a heal, by the way.
Yeah, that heal is actually pretty slow because you have to walk out of your way, and also then you'll have to pick up a seed later. And since he missed the one before, we might see him even pick one up that's a bit out of the way later on.
Oh, he did miss the quick strats here on this puzzle.
Yeah. He seems to be having a little bit of trouble for sure. He also missed the roll before and had to use the bomb to clear that wall.
Yeah, so this split, regardless of the arena, will be a bit slower, unfortunately. Nice deflect to finish that off.
Vorime hit another bad pattern, and the witches were just on opposite sides of the gate, and he couldn't clear them both in time. But he's playing around it pretty well.
That should only count as one, I imagine. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that third hammer bro is all the way. Well, he makes a nice corner cut there to get to that row.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see how both runners react. Vorime to the bit of worse luck in key points to a little bit of struggles.
Ooh,
in movement in these splits.
another slight, yeah, going for that sketchy roll. Vorime also did go for it. I
Mhm.
didn't call it out there, but it is very sketchy sometimes to
Yeah.
be able to get it. But both of these runners do get it fairly often, so.
Yeah. All you need to do is hold directly left to get it, but the timing is sometimes pretty hard to get. So in a tense scenario like this, it can be particularly hard to time it right.
You're also getting hit in this arena.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if Kipoints also takes the heal here. There's a chance he might not in just trying to catch up on time.
Yeah, that will be very interesting if that happens. But like you said, definitely might be on his mind to make up any little bits of time here. So let's see which way the pendulum swings here. Very meanwhile heading into Avarice 2.
Yeah. Avarice 2 is another one of those splits where you gotta look out and react to the RNG. So we'll see how he reacts, particularly to wave 3 with the spiders. Getting hit
Already,
twice. That's a little uncharacteristic for Vorime.
oh no, missing. No, it did get the heavy. I thought it was a bit too early for a second, but
yeah,
that's just on the stream. Let's see how the spiders behave. Trying to group them up.
not too mean this time. Very clean the flex on the witch. Not having to worry about the goop on the ground, particularly when your QHP is always a nice time. And overall, that was a relatively clean Avarice, barring the hiccups on the first wave.
He pausing in the middle there for a second, not sure why, but he did take the heal and has had a very clean arena so far.
Yeah. I wonder if he was trying to assess the situation and see what he needed to do.
Yep, it looked like he was trying to see if he actually did get the hit on the grunt.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure, but yeah, it's cool to see that sort of pause buffering coming into play. Here we will see Vorime, by the way, going for all of these extra souls.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what route he takes back.
Let's see this movement here. He does go for it's kind of look like in between what you were saying and what he was already doing. So I don't know how deliberate that was.
More perpendicular definitely makes that safer. Having practiced it a bit, it just allows you to time the roll a bit cleaner and position the roll a bit better. Oh, Kipoints let us know that his pause was accidental.
Of course. Key in chat. We'd love to see it always. Key heading into Ava 2 as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll have to see if the spiders are a little bit kinder to him there.
Vorime does end up having 8 extra soul, which is interesting.
Yeah. I think he's definitely trying to be a little bit more conservative on count, just to make sure that like even if his math's a little bit wrong, he's not in a race scenario having to kind of scramble.
Spider time.
Yeah. The spiders are being pretty rude and walking away from the explosion. He was probably hoping to get 1 or 2 of them with it. But they are at least standing still for the attacks. Overall, that was an extremely fast spider wave.
Yep, just picking them off one by one, able to get. Oh, I don't think the mage is going to die from that. So
yeah, but it's at least it's out of the way. It's cleaned up afterward.
Yep, pretty clean there. It is nice that the stagger is enough that you can get through.
Yeah.
Killing the next blue mage wave, and then can come back to concentrate on the green one.
Because he got the damage, the cycles were a bit different. If he didn't get the damage on it, it could have spawned in back in the same time and messed up the attacks that he's going for on those other witches, which is the fast cycle for sure.
that would definitely be very hard to deal with all three of them at the same time. So
Yeah.
very clean. Key here is going to be not picking up the soul. So this is the time that we should take note of and to be able to figure out their separation. 3754 for Vorime. He's just going to pick up this one soul, get his upgrade, and head off to Stranded Sailor.
I suspect they'll be about somewhere between a minute to a minute and a half apart. Just at a
that makes sense.
high estimation.
Yeah, just it's basically the Stranded Sailor split apart. It's just a little bit less than that, I guess. Vorime going for diagrams and slight adaptation of the diagram, I guess.
Yeah, Vorime will regularly, if he doesn't feel like that's going well, bail out and just do it normally, just to secure, because it's so much slower to take a damage and fall. And this way you at least get it done. It's a very common backup strat that Vorime uses.
It is a good backup to know for anyone attempting to go for it. Yeah.
The one thing,
too much.
The one thing I will say is Vorime very, very regularly will lab out his backup strats. So if something doesn't go quite the plan, he has an exact thought in his head on how to adapt to it. He's talked about it on stream multiple times. So looking for those backups and seeing how they help him is very huge.
There's something kind of interesting in that fight. I don't know if folks caught that. Was in the Hammer Bro wave, you start with the roll slash. He did 2 lights, and then looked like he finished it off with a roll slash instead of, the roll and 2 more attacks. So that was cool. That's cool to see. Just incorporating the roll into the attack directly. Key not getting the bomb wall, by the way. A really big time loss. The 1 extra dialogue box. To some extent, I don't know how much the trade-off is because the cutscene does move you forward, but I don't know. I don't really think it really matters.
It's very minor for sure.
Yeah. Bomb strats here from Vorime.
Very, very standard first wave here. First 2 waves. With the strats we use in our speedrun, this is definitely a much safer strat than casual play would show. And Vorime did a very clean execution of those strats. So overall, an extremely fast arena.
In that arena, I think once you get past the second wave's initial few attacks, you feel fairly comfy going through it. Key notice as well does not go for the diagram strat, so actually saves time on Vorime a little bit there.
Yeah.
And we're picking up this seed here. I guess recognizing that he did not pick up the earlier one.
Yeah. Vorime will also in his PvE attempts generally pick up that seed. At least when I've seen him do his attempts.
Going for upper strats here, key points.
It was a little bit too far. If you are on the side and you get the heavy, it will attack both the shield and the Hammer Bro, but he was slightly too off and instead only just got the shield hit.
Has to play this fight a bit more spookily just to get through it. Not want to take a death under any circumstances.
Yeah. You'll definitely take the heal here, though.
Definitely no reason to not save and quit here, even though he does do the roll out of muscle memory.
Vorime's now on. Yeah.
I didn't notice if Vorime went for diagram strats. I imagine he did, but my eyes are completely glued on Key's fight there.
I believe they're relatively clean. I also only caught it out of the corner of my eye.
Going for the heavy finished. One spider evades it, but quick clean finish there.
That's pretty much exactly how you want that arena to go. Other than the most satisfying part of it, which is the 3-hit heavy. But there's not much you can do when the spider just wants to jump out of the way, right?
Yep. That's up to the spider to decide whether you will have swag that day or not.
Kipoints making his way over to the second arena. Bomb strats. Very clean execution on his end as well.
Trying to incorporate the deflect in there to kill the hammer bro off quicker, looked like, which cool strat for sure. I guess at the end of it, you'd still have to wait for the mates. I don't know if it saves time, but
It's
very satisfying, I imagine, to get
swag points.
Yeah.
Also a very clean bomb shot arena on Key's end.
Where he misses the swag here. He will be
That
looking
could
out.
be tight at times.
Definitely. I think it almost depends on your first landing point for releasing the bomb. If you're a bit too far right there, I find it even hard to roll to the correct position.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I've had that same experience.
But very clean stuff regardless. Got clipped by the halberd once, which does happen sometimes. But as good as it can go after, despite those things. Let's see if we see diagrams, strats here from Kipoints. This is one of those which has been pretty much universally adopted. Yeah. It's so much nicer than the previous one.
Yeah,
and almost feels less risky.
Yeah, they look the same, but the experience of performing them is extremely different.
Yeah, not having to walk all the way across. Very nice. He going for the instant kill, gets it on spawn. In that situation, when the spiders are backed in the corner, you can be unlucky and just miss. Those spiders were really nice to key.
Doing a variation.
Yeah. But very clean, very, very clean. No hits taken.
It avoids the biggest time loss of having to wait for that witch to respawn.
Oh, War gets a jump, so got hit once.
You hate to see that in the darkness, and you can't quite figure out the timing sometimes. It's always a rough day.
Clean adaptation as usual, though, from that situation, getting through it by killing off those two grunts, getting the next wave very cleanly. The green pod does run away, which it is wont to do, but again, recognizing that he can finish off the mucks, crimers, grimaces, slimes, and then move on to deflect. And Smo, of course, is fairly straightforward at this level. Let's see if Key can get the swag strats here.
Keeping up with the constant action on both sides, just staggering the arenas at perfect timings.
It's very nice. We are missing out a bit on looking at their movement and seeing how much that matters, but combat is the heart of this game at the end of it, so it's fun that the runners are staggering it out nicely for us. Varime's dying. Key is also on 2 health, but making it through. Vorime looks like he's not making it through. Oh no. Death. The death screen in every language is kind of cool. I don't know. I haven't played in every language, but all the ones which I've seen, which are 4, I think, have been pretty cool. So
yeah, there's definitely a ton of care and attention to detail that has been put into all the animations in this game.
Vorime is now going through a very movement-heavy section. It's one of the, I think it's a more fun movement section than the, I guess, other one, which is Flooded Fortress that I can think of. At least the approach to Flooded Fortress, which is a pure movement section. That one's a bit, for lack of a better word, sweatier, because you're really just mashing roll and have to be much more safe because there are hazards on both sides of you. This one is more comfy. It's got some nice strats. It does have some scary skips, so kind of one of those take it or leave it things. Love it or hate it. Yeah.
The three key points to look out for here are I said key points again. I'm gonna just do that every time, I think. We've got the key roll that Varime's about to do. We have puzzle skip roll, and we have the last puzzle we have to do in this section. And all of them, if you miss it, are 7 to 10 seconds of time loss and extremely punishing in a normal run, much less a race.
He made quick work of the first couple of waves. The halberd, he did focus on the green pot for a little bit, which I guess distracted for a brief second. But if they had been grouped up better, it would have been nicer. But still gets through it fairly cleanly.
Yeah.
And gets and it looks like Vorime also managed to get through all of the, just as I say it. But that's really not that big a time loss. He recognized it quickly that he missed lighting the brazier. It is one of the harder shots in the game. I think Vorime has also commented on that it is one of the harder shots in the game. So missing it once really not that bad.
Yeah.
If that's the only mistake you make in the split.
Yeah, there's so many other punishing mistakes that getting that one is not so bad at the end of it.
Honestly, missing it twice is worse because then you have to go down left in this room where he just saved quit out of to gather mana, but he had the mana to get that last hit and get the elevator cutscene. Just as we see Ki dying on the other side and doing that death warp.
Yeah, if you missed Vorime doing all the strats while you're watching the Avarice, this is the perfect time to watch all the strats on Kipoints stream.
It is nice that the runners are kind of doing one and then the other is kind of giving a recap. Both doing it like a technical masterclass of pulling out all the strats which we really know about. Not much of a difference in terms of what these runners do.
Yeah, most of it comes down to. Oh god.
No, sorry. Go ahead. Exactly.
I was saying, most of it comes down to optimization and just how you execute those strats for sure. I agree.
Definitely. You'll notice very small, subtle differences, which one runner may be doing, the other runner isn't, and then in another section you may notice something one is doing and the other isn't, and it's just those tiny things which will make the difference. It even comes down to small things like the lines that you're taking through the rooms. They can save those centiseconds, deciseconds, whatever at that level, and those add up if you do those optimally in each room, and your opponent is doing them slightly less optimally in every room. So
yeah, like the majority of this lead, Kipoints hasn't made any major mistakes. No deaths, no like 8 to 10 second time losses on anything. But it's just the small nuances of what Varime's doing that's kind of given him the lead that he has at this point. And there's been so much action, we haven't really been able to talk about like how this race has been going, but Vorime is doing a very good race overall. Kipoints is keeping up extremely well with all the strats that he's doing.
He getting the nice swag hook shot in the previous room to get on top of the platform. Don't have to climb any ladders. The lazy strats. He also goes for these diagonal strats here. Saves hookshotting to the top left switch, but Ki also getting the hit here first try. So let's say all in all, potentially a cleaner elevator split so far, barring any micro movement things which we haven't been paying so much attention to.
Varime's coming to one of the scarier parts of Watchtowers, the laser arena. It's not a super hard arena, but any mistake you make is usually double punished by lasers or hammer bros. And
it was a little scary there for a second with one of the grunts boys to jump the first one.
Yeah.
Good recognition.
That is pretty much textbook how you want that laser arena to go, though.
Let's see how boomers work out here.
Yeah, he got that good cycle. This should be relatively quick. It depends on when you get there and a little bit on the movement you take, but that's the exact pattern you want.
Love to see it put on display. Beautiful simultaneous kill on those grunts. Key also making his way to the camp, and then we'll be heading up to Watchtowers. Ice skating on Vreem's side. So a little bit of a movement section, just a couple of mages that he'll be looking to pick off here to prevent them from following him into the ice arena that shows up at the end of this section.
Yeah. This ice arena is probably one of the splits that Vorime is looking to play as safe as possible because this is one of the biggest time loss sections. You'll notice that he didn't take any safeties to make it so the run back's faster. He probably will not take the next one either. So a death here is a probably 3 to 4 minute time difference. This is going to be an extremely stressful and probably key point. He did it. He did it again. Key point of this round.
Definitely something to keep an eye out. Let's see. There's a bunch of new strats here. Let's see what Vorime is going for.
I would expect he will do most of the standard strats here. They're definitely faster, and they're not too much riskier than the other way. In some ways, it's even safer.
The major difference, we did see already the first wave, the TFT strats. That is kind of very standard. One of the newer ones in the last few days has been in the last wave. We're falling off for a second here, so a little bit slower on this wave. We'll be hoping that the grunt obliges and comes up quickly. And then this is where the setup for the new strat is.
Yeah. I will say this is clearly the place where you can see the nerves a little bit on display. Vreem's ice arenas are generally extremely clean, and these little small mistakes are actually fairly uncharacteristic. But getting through this is probably going to be a very, very huge relief, and probably he'll feel a lot safer in his lead after that.
Yeah, having to play a little safe for that killing off the last grunt there, but really not a big deal.
Yeah.
Just using the hammer bro as a body shield. That was pretty funny.
Oh yeah, no. This Betty is a little stressful.
Already getting hit. Vorime knew what he was going in for. You do get hit on that first hit sometimes if you go in too fast. Keeman got really bad luck on the boomers.
Yeah.
But gets through it. Vorime is locked in though after that and got a pretty clean kill.
Kipoints had a little bit of a cascade problem. A lot of it just came down to the RNG of the hammer bro. It made him do one attack instead of 2.
Ooh. Oh, you'd love to see it.
It was a solid attempt. Didn't lose that much time for a try. It is definitely like a 4 to 5 second time save, and he'll take every time save he can take at this point.
Definitely. You love to see Key going for these risky rolls. We did see him labbing it out and showcasing it on his stream, on other streams that he's been on, particularly Thistle stream, if I'm not mistaken, he was showing it on. So good to see him bring it out in the race. These runners, like you mentioned, have been doing hard work preparing for this. So you'd love to see it paying off in us being able to share in that and see them express themselves.
Yeah. I'm actually curious on whether or not Kipoints is going to take this heal. It definitely would make it a lot safer, but you lose the 4 or 5 seconds, and he's probably definitely looking at the time difference. It's a couple minutes at this point. And debating at this moment what he's going to do.
Doing it. I think his hope is he gets through Ice Arena and goes straight into Betty with all of this health retained.
Yeah. And there's a couple of scary points still on Voreme's side. He has to get through Flooded Fortress. He has to get through Furnace with good cycles. Getting through Gauntlet, Grey Crow. All of those things are still points where Vorime can have things go awry. So he's trying to keep his lead keep the lead as small as possible.
Yeah, threading the line, I guess, between trying to be consistent, not let the lead kind of get out of hand. And just to, I think he is just zooming, basically, right? He's trying to go as fast as he can, hasn't made any major mistakes. So We will see basically after this what they look like compared to each other and compared to their PvP. Key also going for the new strats. Love to see it. Looks like he's gonna get it. Very clean. I would argue this Ice Arena was cleaner than Varime's, even though Key also fell off in that wave for a brief second.
And not quite ladder control. That is an extra 3 seconds if you can get to that ladder, because while this cutscene is going on, you can climb up it. But other than that, very, very clean for sure.
And note Vorime didn't get that either. So not losing time to Vorime there. Vorime also going for some spooky corner cuts, not really backing down, playing on the edge of his level of risk aversion as well. Not giving Key any quarter here. He knows Key is a tough competitor and not really had any issues on his side. So
Kipoints having a little bit of trouble.
Ooh, this is scary. Oh no. Oh no.
No.
It is one of those fights where once you get something go off, I guess, to some extent, it just makes it really hard to recover from and get locked back in.
Yeah. One other thing that we were probably intentionally not bringing up until this point was Kipoints was 100% on a PV pace. I'm sure that also was weighing on his mind a bit. And Betty is a very high execution strat. It is fairly comfy, but still, like, have to get everything right. And the stress of the moment probably is getting to him.
Oh no.
Yeah.
He might get hit again. Just has to be very careful here. No snowballs, gets through it. Good recovery there. Could have gone really wrong, but gets through it.
And after that stressful experience, we got Flooded Fortress for Vorime.
Oh my goodness. These runners are really staggering it to make this as much content as possible. Yeah, this is a scary place. Vorime has been going for interesting strat pretty much from the get-go. Let's see if he goes for them here. Yeah. Looks like he is. Goes for the ledge, goes for it's perfect execution there of the boomer skip from the ledge. Good stuff.
I think he's found some movement that makes that a little bit cleaner, because the big risk is the grunts messing with you while you're setting up the hook shot, and he kind of was baiting them to the side a bit. I think that helped make it safe for sure.
Very good point. It did look like he kind of slowed down for a second going up to the ledge, so that's probably to do what you mentioned there exactly, is to make that setup a little less spooky. It is a very spooky setup if the grunts jump at you early. Let's see how this one works. Oh, gets hit once, but really not a big issue. Gets the first try.
You take that every time. Like getting that arrow first time, not having to worry about resetting it up. That Vrime's going to actually be pretty happy with that.
Had a couple of mages follow him in, gets rid of one, gets rid of the other here. Good stuff. So at this point, he's kind of home free almost.
Yeah. I'm interested in seeing, there's a chance he skips door. In the boss arena, if this goes well and he doesn't take another hit.
It's interesting to know, just based on the fact that his splits just turned red about 10 seconds ago. That means that he's only about 30 seconds behind Reki to some extent. Like very estimate there, but
yeah,
it's really not bad.
Vrime's probably not super looking for world record with this run, because his back half has a bunch of golds. It's an extremely clean back half. And I think the door is a perfect example. He definitely could have skipped that door if he was looking for a world record pace, but race setting, he's making sure that he's doing all the safeties he can, just in case something goes awry in this fight.
Makes a lot of sense. He's going through the sweaty movement section while Vor has this boss fight. Gets the armor break. Good juggles there.
if you're looking just for mostly optimal damage rotations, getting this bomb right about now is pretty huge as well, and he hits that. So mostly it's just making sure he's getting his heavy light cycles in optimally, not missing too much of them, and he should have a pretty clean Rockeen.
Very clean so far. Really nothing missed at all. Should see a kill here fairly soon.
Yeah. He's also setting up the bomb that he didn't even need.
Good stuff. Just zooming. Key going for Kipo roll here. It's always nice when you see the runner who came up with the strat perform it themselves.
Now we can talk a little bit about the gate skip that we kind of missed on Varime's end. Kipoints sticking it, and then wasn't sure if he had it, but getting a second try. Yeah.
He did second guess it for a second, like you said, but getting it. He is also going for water side. It's funny to see that despite the discovery of the fact that you can do it on the land side, there have been runners, including myself, I'm guilty of this as well, persisting with the water side strat.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Just out of already knowing the setup and being used to the setup. So.
I definitely do water side as well. You risk, the trade-off is you can do it on the other side and it's safer. And the left side does have the risk of damage, but a lot of us have just started out the other way. And so it's hard to fix the muscle memory once it's started.
You can see right here how much time Vorime saved compared to Key. It's really interesting that just by doing that one, it's a risky strat to get on that ledge and do the boomer skip, but just doing that, I would say you can already see that's like 10 seconds that Vorime got for free from doing that. Key having to kill pretty much all the grunts and having some issues clearing out the flame plant as well. So all of that put together, just it's a pretty tremendous time save. Very cool strat as well, but definitely not without its risks.
Yeah, the archer shot goes for him.
First try.
And other than clearing out the enemies, this has been a pretty clean flooded fortress. This is what you're looking for.
Nice dodge on the boomerang. Gets hit once, but just still in a perfectly fine situation. Not anything to worry about yet.
Yeah. I suspect.
Ooh.
Yeah, he was gonna go for the heal.
Just planting it just in case it's needed. I think he probably won't even take it in case he doesn't take the additional hit. That would be my guess, but let's see how it plays out. Oh, it takes it anyway.
It shouldn't be too much of a time loss to get this if he can get the witch on spawn. Oh.
And gets away from him. That's kind of why it's hard to take a heal there. Just shows you pretty much perfectly what the reason for taking that seed. Pretty much you want to take it before the second wave starts. After it starts, you're not in a good position to be able to deal with the enemies and take the heal. And if you want to prioritize the enemies, it does come with a cost. But I think at that point it's a marginal thing. Key was going to have to either do that or take the save and quit at the door. It may actually not be too much of a difference between those two, but
yeah,
at this point, that's all bygones. Frog King fight is what is on Key's mind.
Yep. See if you can get the strat of early hits on here. It's exactly what you're looking for.
Good stuff there. By the way, in all of that, we did miss the new setup that Vorime has for the Furnace Light. We'll pay closer attention to it on the next run, but something to keep an eye out for. We'll be looking for Key to do pretty much the same thing as well.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, that's gonna lose a little bit of time.
Not getting the bomb off, it does happen. Feels bad for a second, but just have to move on, keep up the damage rotation, and hope to get it in this side. At this point, it'll be very tight if Key can finish it off on this left side.
Getting
Maybe
the
can do it
extra
after.
helps.
Getting it after the jump, maybe. Let's see. Nope, has to go the other way. Trying to open up the platform and get some arrows in, but I don't think those arrows work from that far. Ooh, there you go. Gets the final hit. At that point, going for some glitched fight strats, because in glitch you don't have the bomb. You have to kind of stay on Frog King's hand throughout the entire right side section. So
Yeah.
Key adapting from that and getting those last few hits.
Vorime has quietly been having an extremely good.
I think he made up time there, right? It looked like it was turning red just about towards the end, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think he did lose a little bit of time. I did watch. He had the cycles on the conveyor belt go a little bit awry, but other than that, it was fairly clean. So I wouldn't be surprised if he gained a little bit of time on his normal run or his world record run, I guess.
And now, as you said, it is all golds from here on out, I imagine. So let's see how it goes, especially with already taking a hit and down to 2 health. Not so much of an issue, but
getting that deflect helps with the cycles so much, though. He should be able to get this before Grandma starts jumping around.
Oof. Now, at this point, you want to be careful to be out of the way when the Nova shows up. Obviously, Vorime recognizes that and does a good job finishing that off.
We got Kipoints now heading towards a fan favorite swag strat.
Hooray. Oh no. Let's get it second try. Not that big a time loss there.
Yeah. That's probably the best bad scenario you could hope for. It being in the right spot to still hook shot and not having to wait for it to come back. Because I've been in that scenario where you miss it and then you're like, well, I guess I gotta wait for this to come, walk on it, and then hit it. I'm sure we've all been in that place.
Definitely. It's much worse when you don't even have your extra arrow to be able to summon it back with an arrow. You have to like go and stand on the summoning platform, so it's not fun. I guess at this point we can look at Key's entire furnace and actually be able to commentate on it, because Vorime will be going through a bit of tech smashing and cutscene stuff with Grey Crow. So let's see. Key notice, of course, has already taken the 1 hit from falling off, so going through furnace on 3 health should be okay going with all of it, but
yeah, I'm not sure if you tried the new tech that Vorime has for this. Yeah, it's you go partway through this next room, and before you aggro an enemy, you do the fire. So we'll see if he tries that. This is the standard strat where you kind of try to hit it on that corner. It is much less consistent, but it's the one that everyone's kind of gotten used to because it was the only way we really know to do it before.
To be fair, this is one of those which has been kind of released only in the last couple of days, I guess, from what I understand.
Yeah.
So definitely understandable. Good cycle getting onto the platform after that arena. The arena, of course, was also very clean. So nice, good stuff there from Key. I've noticed Key is definitely very good at the furnace stuff. Seems to be maybe a personal favorite or something. I don't know if that's really a thing, but it does seem to always execute very well in furnace. Let's not mention that as soon as I said that, something went slightly wrong. But anyway,
I mean, auto aim just went a little off. That's all.
Those are small things.
One small piece of tech that Kipoints used there was hookshotting the exploding pot. It does make that a ton safer because you can risk getting hit by that. It also generally clears out some of the enemies. It's a nice small piece of tech that helps just make it a little bit safer and go a little bit faster. It's nice to see.
This room has been, on occasion, a bit of a nightmare for a couple of runners in this, including Key. So nice to see gets through it.
Although Great
Very
crow.
crow.
Yeah.
Ooh. Instant first hit, but and missed a few of the deflects, but won't be like terribly displeased about it or
Yeah.
anything.
He's looking to get as many deflects in as possible. Those do a ton more damage than the regular hits. So a lot of what he's going to be doing is looking to manage these murderlings as well as he can to get a ton of deflects off, kind of like you saw there.
Grey Crow is, yeah, it's going down. That was clean. A lot of deflects. Pretty much like you said, textbook Grey Crow fight there. Not as fast as I imagine Varime's fastest has ever been, but
Yeah.
gets through it very quickly. No bullying. Kind of that's the biggest problem. Just don't want to get bullied and have to go super safe. Key heading into the boss fight, no heals, 3 health. So feeling brave. Of course, I think both these runners are fairly consistent with their boss fights, so won't be feeling too bad. Or yeah, it won't really be any issues for them going into these fights. But let's see how Grandma works out. He also there notice is baiting Grandma to throw those purple pots in her general vicinity so that it does damage to her as well. And trying to go for deflects on the green projectiles as well to get that extra damage. Deflects, especially deflects with heavies, parries are a ton of damage. You can see Grandma is very cracked already and down to low health. Not as fast as Varime's because Grandma has started jumping, but still a very good fight. Gets before the rotating pot phase.
There was a couple hits that he missed in optimal cycles that made that happen, but it was very close to getting the right timing for sure. Vorime is going into the first part of Gauntlet with 3 HP. He took a very early hit. Well, I don't think we'll see him go for the first instant door because of that, but I'm wrong. He's going for it. That's the direction you want to go and get this roll right here. Didn't quite hit it, but didn't take any damage.
Yeah, no, it doesn't fall off, which is the only real risk there. Love to see that he went for it. Going for the fast heavies movement-based cycle. Gets the first instant door.
Yeah, we'll probably see him go for the fast cycles on both of these last two. In that case, you just want to be careful because it can be really easy to just slightly mistime it and get hit and then put yourself at 1 HP. And Gauntlet is pretty scary as is. And a death would cost 2 to 3 minutes here.
Let's get hit the once, like you said. Rolls out of the second hit, at least making that concession to safety. 2 health. Yeah. Let's see how he approaches Betty's version of Lord of Doors here.
Yeah. She should know he's in a pretty huge lead. I almost wonder if he'll just skip it for safety.
Got the 1-hit cycle, so it's a little bit off, but gets the timing back on track to avoid the hits and gets the petty roll skip. Yeah. Beautiful
Very good
stuff.
And especially under the stress of a race and being 2 health, that is extremely good to see.
Very remarkable. Just performing at a high level. Both runners, honestly, have put on a really good show here.
Yeah.
Love to see it happen.
Vorime is only 40 seconds behind world record. This is a very, very, very high class run, even for Vorime.
Yeah, based on the Gauntlet exit, it's going to be like a low 117, which is kind of insane. Of course, barring anything that's going to catastrophically wrong here. Definitely keep a close eye on Varime's strats in this Lord of Doors fight, something he's also been nearly labbing out and figuring out strats for. He claims he's gotten it down to the point where it's fully scripted end to end.
Yeah,
so we're keeping an eye out for that.
He should be using the same damage rotation that you see in the Betty roll skip in the previous sections to dodge the attacks here, like that. which I think makes the damage more reliable.
And baits out a few of these backhands, just trying to prolong this section before Lord of Doors does the clap, and then very quick break out of the stun lock, as you would expect, and then probably bait out some more backhands here, and get into the laser section. Kipo might meanwhile also going into Grey Crow, so we have two very technical boss fights happening simultaneously.
That's a good roll, even through the murderlings.
And you see some very nice roll slashes from Vorime to finish that off.
Yeah.
117.06, insane time to pull off in a race.
Very, very clean run from Vorime.
Let's see how this Grey Crow goes for Key. He has missed some damage just from looking out the corner of my eye, but
double deflect there helps a lot.
Should be able to clean it up very soon.
Takes a safety.
Bated breath here to get the deflect. There you go. Crazy time, Vorime. 117.06. Seeing out the credits as Key is heading to grab the last set of upgrades and go into Gauntlet and Lord of Doors himself.
Yeah. With a time like that, Varine's probably going to be feeling pretty good going into the second run.
Yeah, at this point, just based off the times already, Vorime has clenched this match. But as we have said before, it is a best of 3. So it's not over yet, far from it. There's still a lot of gaming still to go.
We got key points going to the start of Gauntlet here.
Yeah, Key, it's worth being said, like, despite taking the death to Betty, is pretty close to PB pace. So he's behind, but it's a remarkable run so far from both runners. Just very clean.
Yeah.
Besides that one mistake, really, I haven't seen any issues on Key's side. It's been very clean. So we have seen a couple of second race PBs. I noticed Key commenting on my own match that he thinks that second race PBs are a bit harder because of the fatigue and just the exertion that happens during the first run puts you out from doing it in the second run. But there have been a couple of second race PBs in this tournament, so we will see if Key can prove himself wrong and pull that out in the second run. He's also going for this. Oh, just misses it.
But that's probably the best way to try it. Like, just see if you can get the roll. If not, just take the slight loss and go on here.
Sorry, Pudding, were you... I'm not sure if I cut you off there.
I was going to add, Key also just came back from work too, so that might be also added to the fatigue.
Yeah. We were talking earlier, and Kipoints said that he woke up at 6 in the morning, and currently, I believe on the East Coast, it's 9, nearly 9. So long day before going to some very technical races, for sure.
And TFT, you can probably attest to this as well. I found it that race run during the race was way more exhausting than any PB attempt based run that I've done. I don't know if you had the similar experience.
No, yeah, you had all the adrenaline of the race going on and the stakes of, potentially winning, going on the next round, or dropping out of the tournament, and it all kind of just adds up to a very, very tiring experience. I know the rest of that day I was like, whew, okay, it's like 3 in the afternoon. I'm ready for a nap.
Yep. And the fact that these runners are doing it at the end of a work day, really commendable. He just missing Petty roll skip, I believe, got the damage, but just a little bit too late. Going for the swag roll here. just have to try it once, right? Save any small bit of time that you can. Missing it does lose time, of course, but at this point, Key is just going for broke. Try all the strats, get everything warmed up for the next run. And go, just go as fast as you can. Let's see if he will also be going for the fast strats here, the heavy rolls. The heavy strats here.
He's definitely got his mind on the next race, even finishing this one out for sure. Getting some extra practice at the end here is always nice because you just have that familiarity of running it on the day of.
Definitely, Lord of Doors is not an easy fight. So any practice, any familiarity, just reawakening your muscle memory, it's good stuff. Yeah, at this point, he's just slightly behind PB pace, but really crazy good run here. Vorime, meanwhile, is chilling in the camp of free crows. Good stuff. Nice damage cycle here from Key, getting all the heavies, baiting out the backhands here. You can kind of stand in a Goldilocks position when Lord of Doors is doing those backhands, just to their side, kind of like the small butt cheek strat where in this case though it looks a lot scarier, and it is a lot scarier and tighter because the Lord of Doors is swinging around, but you can avoid getting hit in those positions. Very risky to go for. I don't imagine anyone will be going for it in this tournament. But just one of those minor time saves that we have seen cropping up more and more in implemented runs. GG to Kipoints there.
GG. As a note, that is only 30 seconds behind Key's PB2, so this is an extremely, extremely good run from Key.
Yep, GG's. Okay, let's bring both runners in. Let's have a look. All right, runners, how are you feeling?
It certainly was a run.
Yeah. Well, I feel all right. Nothing catastrophic happened. So
I was behind most of the run. I got up to just barely. I was 5 seconds ahead into Betty. Came out of Betty 40 seconds behind with a depth. I lost about 55 seconds, and I was 35 seconds behind. So my PB. So it would have been baby PB pace, but not anything we can't recreate.
yeah, it sounds pretty good.
Decent amount of golds.
Yeah, great run, both of you. Okay, so let's go into intermission. Get some break, get some snacks, use the washroom. We'll be right back.